Prince of Persia, Pal World, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, Tekken 8, Persona 3 Reload, Helldivers 2. There's been so many amazing games this year, and Suicide Squad, and we're only 2 months into the year. And now today, we get the sequel to the remake to one of the greatest games of all time. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is out today, and it was without a doubt my most anticipated game of the year, and I want to share with you guys my experience with the game so far. I did not get a review copy of the game, so this is all just based on my first day with the game, which is about 8 hours so far with it. Is it Game of the Year worthy, or does this break the trend of amazing games we've been getting this year? Let's get into it. Now, I normally start all of my reviews and impressions by giving a breakdown of what the game is, but I think a lot of people already know what Final Fantasy VII is. Now, in case you don't, just super quick, Final Fantasy VII is one of the greatest RPGs of all time that came out on the PS1, and they took that game and split it into 3 parts. We got the remake in 2020, we're getting Rebirth now, which is the second part, and we're going to be getting a third one, which is going to be the end of the trilogy in the future. All 3 of these games are based on just the original Final Fantasy VII. So they took the original one and split it into 3, and they expanded on everything. The first game, which was Final Fantasy VII Remake, got us all the way through the Midgard section, and now this one just continues right where Remake ended and continues into the future, but they did add a little bit of twists and stuff that are going to be different from the original game, while also expanding, like I said, on a lot of the characters and worlds and all of that stuff as well. I'm going to limit the amount of gameplay I show on screen here for the main reason that I don't want to spoil anything. This game is very story heavy and there's a lot going on, and mostly with this kind of game where it's a lot of things that could be different or the same from the original game and what is happening, I really did not want to capture anything and ruin the surprise of what's going on. Everything you see here is from trailers of the game. That's it. I basically went and found clips from the trailer, and I was like, if they are allowed to show it, I'll show it as well. I don't want to ruin any of the surprises. Okay, now, let's talk about my impressions of the game. Now, to probably no one's surprise if you guys know me, Final Fantasy VII and Remake are some of my favorite games of all time, so Rebirth would have to do a lot for it to ruin that experience for me, and I'm happy to say it doesn't. It is just as good as I want it to be. The graphics, the world is absolutely gorgeous. Midgard in the first game with Remake is a very closed world, and it can't really show its beauty. The graphical level of everything is absolutely amazing, but it wasn't beautiful to look at. This game is absolutely gorgeous. Everywhere you go is just stunning so far from what I've seen, and I can't wait to see, because I know where we're going with the story if it follows the original. I cannot wait to see how they reimagine some of the original places in this remake. The music, look, Final Fantasy has always been known for this music. I even mentioned how in Final Fantasy 16, which was my game of the year last year, that the music is what made it my favorite game. The music here is just as incredible. You guys, they said there's over 400 songs. Everything is incredible, and not just is each song good, the way they transition. You're in the open world, you get into a fight, and then you get back into the open world. The music never stops. It just transitions in the most amazing way possible. The next thing I want to talk about is the combat. It is so fun. It is incredible. Now, if you guys don't know how the combat works, it is more action-paced, where you do get to run around, hit a button, and just smack things, and you can dodge and block. But they have the pause time, the same thing as the remake, but basically in pause time, select an ability you want to do and then activate it once you have your bar filled up. But they also added in the synergy abilities, so you can actually do combos with your teammates. You can swap characters throughout the battle, and all the characters have been so much fun. My favorite so far has been Red 13. Love just dodging around and smacking everybody with it. Aerith has probably been my least favorite to play as, but she's so important to have on the team because she can heal and she can be supportive and all that. So everything's been so good when it comes to the combat, graphics, and the music. Now, some of the things that I'm not loving, but I also don't hate yet, is just a couple, like, I wonder where this is going, are the character relations and choices. So in this game, and this is not a spoiler because they did talk about this in some of the trailers and everything, but you get to make decisions along the way, and those decisions, from what they explain, is going to affect some of the story things in the future. I don't know how I feel about that, because I feel like the story is very focused from the original. So I'm curious to know how much they can really do with that. If it's just small things like dates you can go on or whatever, that's fine. But I don't know how far they're going to go with it. You also have to build a relationship with all your characters. So all your characters start off with like this sad face, and you got to do stuff and interact and choose the right choice when you're having dialogues with them to make them happy. So I'm very curious to see where they're going with this. I really hope it's very minimal and it doesn't actually affect in the long run like major decisions or anything like that. Another small annoyance, and this is very a small one, but I'm only 8 hours into the game and I can tell that this will annoy me the more I play it, is that some of the animations are very slow. So there's like a section where you have to grab a vacuum, and I'm not joking, I'm gonna keep it generic like that. You have to grab a vacuum and clean out a space to be able to go to the next area, and you are running, fighting in this action, fast-paced battle, and then everything stops for you to just grab a vacuum and walk to one spot to clean up the stuff. And I was like, this is weird. And I thought it was maybe a one-off. That happened like 2 or 3 times in that one area. And then a bunch of other things, climbing ladders, climbing rocks, picking up treasure. All of the animations like that are so slow. There's like another part where you're like pushing mine carts. Everything like that just slows down the game. But the game is so fast paced. You can sprint everywhere. You can ride chocobos that'll make you go even faster. And then you get these moments where you're just moving things in the slowest possible way. And I find it so weird that it's in there compared to everything else being so fast. This could easily be patched in, and I really hope they do, where they just triple the speed, not even double. I feel like triple the speed, and then it might be worth it. But until then, like, it feels like it's just a way to slow down the game for no reason. Going back to the positive, there's a lot of mini games in this game. I'm not going to talk about all of them, but there is one I want to talk about, and that's the card game. It's called Queen's Blood, and oh my god, as soon as I played the tutorial of it, I was like, I'm gonna run around and try and find as many people as I can to play this. You get a deck of 15 cards, and you're gonna have 3 lanes, and you're trying to get points on each of the lanes and play your cards in the right place to fight off against opponents. I hope to God this game gets removed from Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and becomes its own thing, because I would buy packs. I would do, whether it's digital or card, I want a real version of Queen's Blood outside of this, because it is incredible. I cannot wait. It's probably the thing I'm most excited about Rebirth right now. The fact that you can go and fight people, and they tell you, like, if you beat them, you get this new card. You get to customize your decks, and they were saying you can buy booster packs in the stores and like in the villages. It is so good. Each battle is like less than 5 minutes, so it's very fast paced. It doesn't ruin the experience, and you obviously don't have to do it, but I do recommend you guys, when you're playing, go and fight everyone with Queen's Blood. It is excellent. Going away from Queen's Blood and just talking about side content as a whole, like side quests, mini games, and all the stuff, there is a lot in this, and I feel like it could be a huge positive or a huge negative depending on who you are. Now, you don't have to do all of it. You can obviously mainline and just go from story quest to story quest to story quest, and I don't think like you're gonna miss out on anything if you decide not to, but there is a lot there. This game can easily feel like it's gonna be over 100 hours with the amount of content there. It can feel overwhelming, but I feel like they do a nice job where it's not like thousands of like markers on your map right away. You have to unlock them over time, and you can just kind of complete them. As a completionist, it does make it really fun to just go around and get everything done. So I do plan on trying to complete it as much as I can. I'm going to take my time with this one. I just really hope that the side content is good. I can't really comment on all of them. The ones I've done so far have been fine. Like not awful or not amazing so far, but it can feel like they could end up being repetitive. Like if you have to do one, I did one tower. I don't know how many there are in total, but it's going to be the same thing every single time for sure. The mini games have been really fun so far, like I said too. But like I said, it just feels like they just threw everything in this game, being like, let's see what people like. And then I'm curious to know if they're going to keep all of this in the third game, or if it's going to go back to kind of like Remake, where it's a bit more linear and focused for the finale of it all. The last thing I want to talk about is the story, and I'm not going to do any spoilers. I just want to mention that 8 hours into the game so far, I feel like the story started off like the first hour or two was really good, really focused, and now I'm kind of like, okay, it's already started to slow down. Sorry, there's the sickness. It's already started to slow down a little bit. I'm kind of hoping it starts picking up soon. Now, obviously, this is the middle game of a trilogy, so there's not much they can do where, like, we know there's another game coming in the future, so I'm curious to know what they're going to do. I do know from the original, but how much are they going to change? What are they expanding? What are they not expanding? I'm enjoying it so far, but I wouldn't say I'm loving it yet. I'm curious to know what they're going to do with some of the story stuff moving forward. I will also say, like, this is obviously part 2, so if you've never played Remake, and even if you've never played the original, don't play this. I think you need to play the remake, and I think you should highly recommend play the original even before you play this one. I have played all of them, and there are still some scenes that I'm like, I feel like I still don't know what's going on here. So I can't imagine someone who hasn't played them. You could watch recaps, you can do all that for sure, but the game story is fairly confusing unless you follow it yourself. So I do think that if you haven't played the others, make sure to go play the others before you play this one, no matter what. Overall, I am very positive on this game. Some minor complaints, like I said, like the slow pace stuff and everything, but I cannot wait to go back and play this game. I cannot wait to finish this video and edit it and post this. I can go back and continue. I am loving it. I cannot wait to see what's going to happen next in it. I do think, like I said, that it's not for everyone. This is just for everyone who loved Final Fantasy VII, which I think a lot of people do. If you were curious about Rebirth, play Remake first. Do not jump into this one unless you want to really jump into the open world. You like that one better. But I do think Remake is absolutely worth your time, and you should definitely at least get that. I'm pretty sure, don't know if it's still the case, but I know that if you pre-ordered or if you purchased Rebirth, you got Remake for free. So check and see if that's still an option, because if so, I highly recommend you buy the twin pack and then play the first one first, or the remake first and then the Rebirth. And even if you have the chance, play the original. That one's very important to play as well. I do think this game's going to end up being one of the Game of the Year contenders this year. I don't know if it's going to be the winner because, like I said, it is the middle. So I don't know how they can stick the landing. They got to end it in a way that's not going to satisfy everyone because there's a third part coming. So I don't know how that's going to work out. But when you take the graphics, the music, it's going to win soundtrack of the year for sure. Like music, I can't see anything beating this game. Graphically, combat, everything else is so fantastic. This is easily going to be in the top 5 or top 6 for everyone who's played it, no doubt about it. And that's the end of my impressions. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you got you guys excited about playing the game. If you are playing it, comment down below what you guys think of the game. If you're not playing it, comment down below why not. And thank you guys for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Subscribe, give the video a thumb. You guys know what to do. That helps the channel. Take care. Bye-bye.